The states are writing to center over the proposed changes in IAS Cadre rule of 1954. The changes are proposed in Rule 6.1 of IAS Cadre. To talk on that, we have INB Secretary Apoorva Chandra. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time. Can you please explain to us what was the need for the proposed changes? What have you written to the states?
The need for the proposed changes is that the number of officers at the cutting edge level in Government of India has gone down sharply over the years. And as you know, that in Government of India, the Joint Secretary is the cutting edge level where all the basic notes of policy are formulated. A Joint Secretary heads a particular division, and that is where the work of Government of India takes place. When I was during my younger days, it was very difficult to get into Government of India. When 1999 I came to Government of India for the first time, getting a job even as a Deputy Secretary was very difficult. I am from Maharashtra Cadre, and in Maharashtra they are very conservative in giving confidential reports, and all my confidential reports were very good. While in some states everybody gets outstanding. So it was very difficult to come to Government of India even as a Deputy Secretary. I had to wait almost for 6-8 months. When I became Joint Secretary in 2009, the same thing happened at Joint Secretary level also. Because it was very difficult to come as Joint Secretary because there was a lot of competition. A lot of officers were aspiring to come to Government of India. But now things have totally changed. Now you don't find any officer of IAS as Joint Secretary, very few, and Deputy Secretary hardly anyone in any ministry. In my ministry here in Information Broadcasting also, I have no Joint Secretary from the IAS, no Deputy Secretary from the IAS, not even one. When I was in Labour, there was only one Joint Secretary from the Indian Administrative Service, and I was given one Deputy Secretary, and I was really very surprised that I am getting a Deputy Secretary of IAS, because I had not seen a Deputy Secretary from the IAS in any ministry for the past 10 years. So things have changed substantially.
But so the main stakeholders in this, the states, are saying that they too have the shortage of the manpower, and also somewhere this move targets the federal structure that is there in the country.
That is precisely the point, because if there is a shortage, yes, maybe then that shortage should be equally distributed between the state government and the central government. Let's say if a state government cadre is 300, and if they have 250 officers, that means they are short by about 20%. Then they should send at least to Government of India 32%. Instead of 40%, they can send 32% officers. But it is not this that only 10% of the officers come. Then the Government of India will always be in a shortfall.
But sir, one question which remains still is that the consent of the state earlier was needed. Through this amendment, the consent of state won't be there. So somewhere the state will not have a say in the transfer and the cadre posting.
But in a federal structure, it works both ways, because I mean, a federal structure, you require officers at the Government of India level, also at the state government level. The consultation process takes place in deciding this in the CDR. And once it is decided, then it is incumbent on the state government to send their officers to the Government of India.
So today is the last day of getting those recommendations from states. We have seen several chief ministers openly writing the letter, vehemently opposing this. What are we going to see from here on?
Comments will be received, and I am sure, because these are all consultative, and a lot of noise is being created even when the rules are in a draft stage. Let's wait for the final rules. But at the same time, the need of officers in Government of India is also equally important for the federal structure. Just to say that the states, there is work, that is not correct to my mind.
And it is not an attack on the federal structure as it is being said and quoted everywhere in the letters.
We are from the All India services, and another thing which is being said is that officers, the convenience of the officers should be there. I mean, as an All India service officer, it should be my duty to serve wherever I am called upon to serve. I mean, convenience to an extent is okay, but then once you join the Indian Administrative Service, you have made a commitment that you will work in Government of India or in the state. It cannot be that I will continue in the state forever.
So we are going to see a few changes. The government will be looking at the recommendations and the proposals which have come from the state. With video journalist Citing, this is Ayushman for Mirror Now.